Should you RSVP for this vampire party? Time to find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nightmare Collective. I'm Chris. Thanks for stopping by and watching my review of The Invitation. So let's get into it. So I saw The Invitation yesterday at my screening around like 7, I think that's when it was, and there was another guy in there with me, and as I put in my little short on YouTube, he was a fellow beardsman like me, and he also did not like the movie. So let's get that right out of the way. I did not like this movie. It sucked a lot. It not only sucked, but it drained 2 hours of my life that I don't think I can ever get back. So let's get into why that is. So The Invitation is about a girl named Evie who lives in New York, and she is kind of like a hostess type person. She goes around and I guess just works different events for caterings and stuff like that. And so at this party in the beginning of the movie, she gets a little swag bag that her friend gets her, and it has one of those Ancestry DNA tests in it. So she takes that, they're sitting around drinking wine, cutting up, talking about how white some people are that she has gotten connected to, and I was like, wow, am I that white? Do I look like that? Because they make a joke, they're like, that is the whitest man I've ever seen. And then I was like, is she talking to me? Am I the whitest man that she's ever seen? Probably. Anyway, so she gets that. She wants to connect with this. She has a second cousin. So she connects with him and she goes to meet him at this like fancy hotel restaurant type thing, I'm assuming. And they connect and he's like, hey, there's going to be this wedding that's coming up and you should definitely come to this wedding. We're all dying to meet you. Dying. They're literally dying without you there. And so she is like, I'm assuming that there's like red flags just like going off inside of her head everywhere, but she is still like, hey, let's do this. Let's get on this plane and go to England. And so she does. Once she gets over there, she gets to this huge ass chateau where she meets the lord of the estate, who is named Walter, but he goes by Walt the Dracula. Well, let's spoil it. He's Dracula because they already spoiled that shit in the trailer. But anyway, let's continue on. So she meets him. They kind of do this flirtation thing, and there's this big wedding coming up, and she is just like, oh, I haven't seen like the bride and the groom at all. And so they continue to have their flirtatious thing, and then like during the wedding party, he like sneaks her off and like takes her to this room, and it's got a bunch of stuff she likes, like pottery and a bunch of other stuff. And so she's like, this is nice. And he's like, well, hey, could you stay here forever? With me forever? And I'm like, it boggles my mind that I just don't think she gets it. For so long, she doesn't understand what's happening. And it's like, how do we not understand what's happening? You're clearly the bride. Like, this is why you were brought here. He keeps buying you dresses, talking to you all like smooth like, and he looks like he wants to like bite the shit out of your neck the whole movie. I mean, that's what I got from him. Was just like, I just want to dig these vampire teeth into your neck and make you my bride. I mean, that's what I got the whole movie. So without spoiling anything for this movie, overall, that's kind of where we get to, and then that's when things kind of shift. But like I said, it is in the trailers. Like, I mean, they give away both of the plot twists in the trailer, that she is obviously going to be the bride, everybody's looking at her, they're all acting weird, and that they're vampires. And so like, I mean, for me, I hate that shit so much when they just give so much away. That was like the Halloween Kills trailer last year, just give everything away for that movie. But we got that again, and I'm just gonna be honest, like, there's an ending shot in that trailer that is right out of the movie, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that was cool. But overall, I think it's very generic. I think they thought they were gonna get away with a lot of this because of like the aesthetics of the movie and the atmosphere of the movie, which are pretty good. And I will say, like, overall, the first like 30 to 35 minutes, I was actually enjoying this movie. It's more of like a romantic vampire tale, I would say. So somewhere between Twilight shit and like Interview with the Vampire. We're like smack in the middle of that. Just not as good as Interview with the Vampire. We know it's better than the former. So we go into that, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I hated it. I don't understand. I just don't understand what we're doing with vampire movies lately. Screen Gems is just like, hey, we don't have Underworld, so we've got to make something. We don't have Resident Evil anymore. We got to do something. So they decided to make this generic piece of trash that they made me watch. I guess they didn't make me watch it. I guess I chose to watch it for this YouTube channel. But anyway, I should preface that. I don't know that I would have seen this movie if I wasn't going to like review it on the channel. I mean, I want to like a good vampire movie. I love vampire movies. I'm super looking forward to that interview with the vampire show. I am not typically a TV person, but I really hope that that show is awesome. If it is, I definitely want to cover that on the channel. So if you want to see me cover that, just let me know down below as well. Also, what did you think about this movie if you're seeing it this weekend? Did you like it? Did it go above your expectations, lower than your expectations? I had no expectations, so even for me, it wasn't great, and I went in with nothing. So I don't know how you're gonna fare if you actually have some excitement level for this movie. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know, to each his own. So yeah, let me know what you thought about it this weekend. Are you even gonna see it this weekend? Is this something you're gonna wait for streaming? The other thing real quick that I do wanna rant about is I heard from the director, I read like a little article that there's going to be an R-rated cut of this movie and they kind of shot it like that. That's so frustrating. I get that like you wanna make your money and I understand that that's how the box office works, but don't make me a rated R vampire movie and then not give it to me, because like that's the movie I want to see, and you act like I'm going to watch your movie a second time if I didn't like it the first time, which is some bullshit. Just give me the movie you want me to see from the beginning with all the blood that I want, because there is definitely some scenes where I'm like, okay, I see where the R is. I see where the R could go in this. But I digress. Just for me, I do not think you should see this movie. It was very generic and boring, and like I said, it just sucked overall. This is kind of where we are in the state of vampire movies. It's a bummer, but anyway, that's what I'll leave you with today. If you like what I do, consider becoming part of the collective, and don't forget, some doors should never be opened.